Right, I'm back. I just thought I would do a video. So I'm doing these Bert reclaimed tiles. And I just wanted to make a few points. If you've never laid them before, just a few tips, which will just make your life easier. So what you've got to remember is that these tiles are different thicknesses. So it's worth taking the time to go through them all, kind of sort them out, clean them up, and just put aside obviously all your chip ones, because as much as it's reclaimed, it's, you know, they're a lot of money, but it's also nice just to maybe put the chip ones to the edge where you're not going to see it. So we've decided to even the gap either side so that we have full effect tile floor here, the pattern. Now sometimes the joints might be, you might need to close them a little bit because it's the pattern that you want to see, not particularly the grout joints, because of the colour of the grout. It's going to hide that. Now also I use trowels, so I use an 8 to 10 mil on the floor, usually a 10 mil, and then I also use a different thickness for the back of them. And the reason being is I offer them up like this, and if I'm happy with that, I know that when I've put my bed on, keep them nice and clean, and just lay it down there like that. Right, okay. Always keep them nice and clean. Always wipe the adhesive away, like so. Now, the good thing is if you use a 10 mil and then you're using another notch trowel underneath, you're giving yourself just that little bit of depth, because what you don't want to do is, maybe if you had 20 smaller ones, you come across a thick one, you're not going to be able to bed it down enough to get it level. Okay, so, and that's literally it. So just keep going through them, and then again, I know that one there is going to be slightly lower. So again, I can get a good bed on there, like so, and then we'll put that in there. Okay, now I know they're stuck down properly. I've given them a clean. I'm using 4 mil spacers, and we'll just try and even them up like that. There you go. Now, I know it's time consuming, but for example, like this here, what I can try and do is I can try and just close that up a little bit. So that gap there is looking better with the pattern. And it is worth just going through the tiles. I've gone through 544 tiles on this floor, and I've put aside the chipped and broken ones, and I've used them along the edges, because also some of them have fractures in, so when you start knocking them down a little bit, they can fracture, and that's what you don't want. And also then you can keep an eye on your patterns and just go from there. I hope this helps. I got some slow set adhesive, gives you time, lets them go off properly. I've sealed the floor. No underfloor heating, so no need for matting or anything. And we're going to work in sections as well. It's important to keep it as square as you can. I always pull a lot off, make sure the measurement back from the wall is square, because then if you do start going out, because they are different sizes, you know, they can range from 1 to 5 mil out. So you've just got to be careful that you know, you don't want to get yourself into a dilemma where you end up taking them up, or you're like, you can't you know, adjust it. So basically, if you can make some noise. Okay. So again, you can see here the thickness difference. It doesn't look much, but it's enough. So what I'm going to do is just offer that up again like that. See, now that's higher there, so I don't need to put as much of the bed on the back. So what I'll do is just butter the back to give it a key with the flat edge of my trowel. Keeping it clean. You get any mess, just like that, okay? Nice and clean. Put it in. Make sure it's correct like that. Right. See, now I can see that this gap here, I want to keep it square so it's not a 4mm spacer. I've got a couple of wedges. I'll put some wedges in there. Spacer it out this side for the minute, okay? Right. Thin bed tip on this one. Cool. Now, this one here, I'm going to get a thin one and show you the difference so I can get that in like that. I'll get a thin one and I'll show you. So that one I've used no bed, just to butter the back of it. Buttering obviously means just to give it flat covering. This one I've used a thin bed. Now this one, I've been looking at it, I'm going to go for so that one's a thicker bed. Okay, I'm just showing you just right, there you go. Keep it clean. Now I could tell that that one was a lot thinner than the others, so it needed an extra bit of bed. So there you go, see? So every tile you've kind of got to offer up and just kind of work out what bed you want underneath it. It's not just as simple as getting a 10mm trowel and just then buttering down, because you will have problems. And the other thing as well, don't just go on 4mm spacers, because otherwise you're going to gain, because they are different sizes, okay? So I'm going to go different one here. That one's a little bit, so I'm going to go thin bed on this one. And we can put that one in like that. Right, there you go. So we've gone thin bed, no bed, thin bed, thick bed to a thin bed. I've got a straight edge along here just to give me a guideline, and I can open these up like that, okay? Let these go off properly, keep the tiles clean, do what they say on the instructions with sealer, probably a pre-grouter, then grout it, then wash it, and then once you're happy with it you can seal them. But again, it's just taking the time to go through them and spend a little bit of time, and it will look absolutely stunning.